Hello and welcome to She Vomited Guns, a short little visual novel developed by Christopher Ortez, available on itch.io. You may know the developer as one of the team members of Sukiban Games, the people who made Valhalla, the cyberpunk bartending waifu action game, whatever, that I played a while back, actually. And well, they just made like a short little story here that seems interesting. Apparently, there's been a shortage of guns, and we need to make more. And I guess we'll see what happens. Let's start. G-Vomit Guns. File 1. Little Nina. Oh yeah, and I gotta say, well, I don't know. I don't know if this is horror necessarily. I don't think it's tagged as horror. Well, anyway, I guess there might be some body horror though, so your discretion is advised. Anyway, the synthetic order has been around for only a couple years. It's a young office compared to its many, many century-old siblings, some being as old as time itself. By the way, we're in location unknown, and I guess the speaker is Dr. Ali Supertramp. Interesting name. But in the years it would take a child to learn how to speak, its, or should I say, our advances have been astronomical. The fields on which we specialize have been rather critical in recent times. Arms production has been stellar due to a number of factors, but suffice to say, we take care of it in a way that will make our creators so proud. I come here every so often to check on one of our subjects. The official nomenclature for this one being a drawing code collections of letters and numbers. X498, if you care so much about it. But I've come to realize over time that these fragile creatures of the wire function best when they're treated with delicate care. They react well to names for starters. I've named this beautiful female-presenting organism simply Nina. An underling of mine thought of a surname, Jodorowsky. He thought it'd have a nice ring to it, and I agreed. Jotaro. It pains me to say that I've been feeding Nina a stream of lies to keep productivity up. While it's true that I love her, like anyone would love one's offspring, at the end of the day she's a product, part of a pipeline. And I must feed her cruel fictions of a bright future to keep it well oiled. She is to remain within the greenery of the Order's campus, a matrimony of practical design with genuine desire to replicate the environment in which our species was able to thrive. Species, as in human beings, is nonetheless a closed space in a world so big and vast. There's no space here for little Nina's dreams. She cannot speak, nor she will ever. The brains aren't designed for that. They have a much grander purpose as the wombs that will give birth to much needed instruments of death. As for the lies I've been feeding to this mouth, unable to utter more than a few whines, they're all about a road that cannot be traversed, goals that cannot be achieved, dreams that will never be reality. She will live and die under my care, surrounded by beautiful green. Beautiful, eh? All I see is darkness. Sure. By the time her fourth cycle is over, she'll no longer care about unfulfilled destinies. She'll close her eyes for the last time, perhaps feeling an unmeasurable amount of hatred towards me for filling her mind with hollow illusions. Okay. I make sure to feed her fledgling ego in any way I can. Compared to the subjects under other caretakers, Nina's by far the best performing. My flawed and frankly nebulous concept of love and the warmth it transmits seems to have an effect on her productivity. A happy little angel willing to make her creator so proud. Alright. Her body is frail but strong enough to do what's expected of her. The cables protruding from her tiny frame keep her genetic information from beginning to abstract for her reality. Zeros and ones cannot attain a physical form, and less transpile from one understanding of matter to the other. Under certain circumstances, you'll be able to live for another 3 years. Without these massive cables, the expectation becomes much shorter. Can't live without the cables. And also they said, like, yeah, force cycle. Yeah, it's probably, I don't know what a cycle is, but it's like, sci-fi speak, I guess. In terms of like maybe years or just in general. Just like amount of time. Well, due to the short life expectancy, it is important that my positive reinforcement, the lies I so much hate to tell, come across as strongly as a synthetic order will let me. Synthetic order, I guess that's the organization we're working for. She doesn't know the meaning of the word thanks, but a kiss on the lips, food, a pat on the head, a hug, it's all embedded enough to be parsed as a comforting sensation. A palpable reward. The more I do it, the better results we have. It's been a couple of days since the last emesis. Normally a daily occurrence. But as she approaches the end of her third cycle, each one will have a longer buffer in between. I'm spending time with Nina right now, where I've calculated that her next emesis will take place at exactly 8 p.m. of today. I'll hold her hair and make a signal for the staff to be on standby. Nina is feeling nauseous, but probably relieved she's about to vomit. When was she gonna vomit? You can tell from the title, maybe. It is after all the action I take makes me the happiest. Or, it is after all the action that makes me the happiest. She exists in her own mind, for mine the other's approval. Okay, well that's interesting. Now, during the first moments of their life, the emesis will only yield small arms that her mouth will expulse without ripping a heart. Grenades, knives, tiny handguns. Nina, as a grown-up, can now produce weapons as big as a rocket launcher. The tissues on her face are now elastic enough to withstand the stretch. It's like a living human CSGO loot box? Are we trying to get like a super legendary rare knife? Sell it in like a legal market? I don't know. A flexible bone structure permits her jaw to contort and travel far from the rest of the skull. She'd eat those like really big hamburgers. The ones that no one can eat. Like they're like topped up like 5 patties, It's like, how are you supposed to eat it, But she can, I guess. Assuming that she even is allowed to eat your food. The throat widens. This time I'm looking for something larger than a rocket launcher. I've gone through countless paperwork in hopes to get the approval from the high delegate of the synthetic order himself. All for something that hasn't been seen just yet during our short existence. I want Nina to give birth to a nuclear warhead. Okay. We simply can't just make guns. We can't make nukes either. We need to, like, have these synthetic humans vomit up nukes. This is how it works. This is the most efficient way to do this. But I guess this is a second file now. We are still Dr. Ally Supertramp. To stimulate Nina into a state of joy capable of materializing something of that scale, I need to go a bit further. It's the reason I had to involve the high delegate. A protocol precludes caretakers from crossing a certain threshold of interaction with the subjects. What can I do in order to make Nina the ultimate angel of death? I have a sound theory. Positive reinforcement can be stacked if it comes from several sources. It's like a buff, in an RPG. While my contributions seem to weigh a lot more in her mind compared to others, we have observed several times how the output tends to be particularly plentiful once my underlings join the exercises. There's a small problem that impedes my co-workers from being as effective as me. They lack a sort of tact that's necessary for little Nina to feel comfortable. It's perhaps that I'm the only one in the team that's bore children before, while they indulge in all sorts of depraved pastimes. Okay? I guess I'm assuming the professor? Doctor? I don't know. The researcher? I guess is a mother, or possibly a mother in the past. But they indulge in depraved pastimes. What does that mean? What do you mean depraved? Did they force her to play video games instead? One of them, Harrison, is a collector of questionable pornography and talks about nothing else but that. This just sounds like interacting with people on the internet. Nina is just someone who's on like Twitter or something. I don't know, or social media in general. The other one, Sybil, straight up erased her empathy via over-the-counter drugs to cure herself from crippling depression. Ah, yes. Suffice to say, both have a complicated relationship with human interaction and what's expected of them, One is a Redditor, and the other is, I don't know. I want to say, like, I don't know what the equivalent would be. I basically just want to say, like, like OnlyFans, like girl, whatever, e-girl. Yeah, that's what it is. E-girl. Like one's a Redditor, one's an e-girl, Anyway, this is where it came to me as one of the most satisfying eureka moments in recent months. The Wire, so infinite and deep, has no shortage of opinions. Oh yes, 4chan? That's just 4chan. Why you copy and paste 4chan in your game? Yes. Great upsec. Okay. This is actually a minor. One puts oneself out there in the hyperspace, and feedback, both negative and positive, liberates a not insignificant amount of chemicals across the brain that drives our minds to seek more and more of it. In the same way her body is transpiled from one understanding of manner to the other, maybe there's a way to convert raw positive reinforcement into something she can consume, like candy, like upvotes. Oh no, she's gonna karma farm. The actions of the order are handled under the utmost secrecy. The arrangement I made of the High Delegate, however, provided me with a fair amount of liberty to share some of the process in order to gather the data I need. Out there in the Wire, an absurd amount of so-called social bubbles abound through this expanse. The laissez-faire, unregulated environment of which it is constructed allowed all sorts of individuals connect and share virtually anything, but be careful about like this one rich guy who buys one of these social bubbles and starts, ironically regulating it, even though he was complaining about it being, regulating it in the first place, but then he just regulates it even more. Anyway, what? From thoughts to actions. There's no boundaries or laws in this space. It's as free can be. Nina attracts a fairly specific sector of heterosexual males, with a disposition to glorify war and sexualize anything that's female presenting. Well, I mean, I guess that's 4chan. 4chan and, parts of Reddit, I guess. I don't know. The combination of the two gathering the most reactions as far as I'm able to see. It is due to this that I've decided to share fairly censored footage and photos of Nina, under the pretense of it being fiction in the middle of her emesis session. So this is very niche community you're trying to build, Dr. Ally Supertramp. I don't know, man. Weird like fetish art. No. I then gather the replies in each thread, filter out chaos agents and other undesirable actors, and compile the positive words directly associated with her imagery. I'm the moderator, you see. Forum moderator. Feeding her this raw, positive reinforcement has been cheap, easy, and more importantly, effective. The rate at which she goes into emesis and using larger than usual weapons has grown to unprecedented heights. So effective, in fact, where she has started to smile. No subject thus far in my years of research has gone to this point. There's a feel of uncertainty that overpowers my body. As a woman of science, I should be able to use it to navigate uncharted waters in search of an ever-elusive discovery. But this time, it's as if I've stumbled upon something I won't be able to properly harness. A loss of control that I can't wrap my head around. A loss of control. A loss of control. Okay. I feel like this is also like a metaphor for like creating stuff on the internet, and like, for example, if you're a developer of like a video game, putting your stuff out there. Anyway. Foul 3, lack of love, by the way. And like how like if you're a developer, especially if you're like an indie developer, you make stuff and like people's expectations get even higher and higher. So the next big thing you gotta make needs to be even better, and those kind of like unrealistic expectations just cause massive amounts of stress and pressure, and then you end up not really liking the thing that you initially did because you had passion in it, and you lose your passion in it, and then anyway, we observed the results of my research with great pleasure. Nina can no longer produce weapons in her fourth cycle, but before the third one ended, she was able to vomit close to 500 nuclear warheads in under a month. That's a lot of nukes. It was a tough process, so tough and painful, it left little Nina bound to a wheelchair, and a smile she's not able to put away anymore. She's nearing the end of the fourth cycle. Her life will come to an end any moment now. But unlike the ones who came before her ego seems to be content. Promises I made that once rung hollow became very much real, and the fulfillment she feels will accompany her to the grave. Still not able to speak a word or understanding any of mine, she's finally reached a point that many of us will never even grasp in a lifetime. Strangers on the wire, as anonymous and distant as they may be, provided a clear roadmap for her own existence. She wasn't living for herself. She lived for others. She became a social media celebrity. She became a YouTuber. It is a deceptively simple dynamic that for our purposes was of grand utility. My papers have now become part of our Bible, and teams across the synthetic order are now undergoing massive restructures in order to accommodate. We have now hired many social media managers. It is expected that in the next 10 years, there'll be more nuclear warheads in the market than people. Our angels have become messengers of death, have made their creators, oh, so very proud. And ours, so angry. Ah yes, space. The final frontier. Alright, well, suddenly a very, stark contrast. There's like color. Tomorrow is the day. I can't believe it. After all the years of service, I managed to survive all the way to the end of it. Once I go home, I finally meet my niece. She was born 2 years ago. I only knows my face from video calls on Zoom. Thinking about it makes me all emotional. Man, I can't wait. I'll tell my folks I love them every single day. I did it for them after all. All the people I killed overseas. All the lives I had to end just to make it back. You don't mind if I cry, right? Have you ever seen a soldier cry? I didn't think I was capable of this. I have to thank you, Dr. Supertramp. Or Supertramp? I thought it was Supertramp. It was you who assigned me to this post. Guarding little Nina has been a walk in the park. You knew I only had a year left and made it easy as possible. For that you have my utmost gratitude. Thank you for this and for your contributions to the Order. A loss of control. Hi, Nina. Sorry you had to see that. What's another stripe on the tiger, right? Oh, he was 1 day from retirement and you killed him. What the heck? Literally that trope about like him like, wow, I can't believe I'm about to retire and go to my family and like have a great life where I, stop killing people and like, get over my PTSD and everything. It'll be great, It's not your fault. We engineered this. We engineered you, your life, your dreams. Every single desire you've ever felt, it was us. We created the perfect pipeline, a pipeline where there's no longer any need of convincing. You come to us. You come to us with the illusion of one day crossing the gates of heaven. And all we had to do was convincing you it exists. A life where you're the protagonist of your own existence. An arc to be accomplished. I don't care if you don't understand what I'm saying. I don't care if you can't talk back. I just need you to listen. Look around. Do you like what you see? Do you hate what you see? No need to worry. It doesn't define you. It never will. Look inside. Cut all distractions. Forget I'm even talking. Forget I'm here. Close your eyes. Listen to nothing. Feel the beat of your own heart. Do you what you gotta do? Do you what you gotta do? Is that a sentence to Dr. Ally? I don't know. Do what you gotta do. As long as you see things for what they really are, you'll be able to love yourself. I'm giving you a chance, little Nina. Run away and live your life away from this sickening place. Find yourself before it's too late. I don't have much left myself. Whatever time I bought you, it better be worth it. I trust you. I love you. And sorry for everything. You're more than what you do. Rebuild yourself if you have to. Be your own creator. Live for yourself. Love yourself. At the end of the day, all you truly have is a reflection in the mirror. Synthetic are their lies. And please, don't browse 4chan ever again. It's a silly place. Okay, is that it? All right. So I'm assuming, at the end there, we were from the perspective of Nina. When you clicked on Hi Nina, that was her saying that, I guess. And she killed the guard so that Nina could, because obviously she felt attached, to Nina. I'm assuming like a daughter, and therefore let her escape. How can she survive though? Wasn't her life expectancy like really low because you needed the cables to live and all that? But maybe that was a lie as well. Maybe that's the point where like that was also a lie, that she could live a lot longer if she simply was given more exposure to the real world. Maybe is the idea, because initially these like little weapon producing anime girls or something like that, they have little contact, right? They only have contact with the researcher, and they live like isolated and all that. What probably killed them is not like their actual biological life expectancy, but rather just depression, if I had to guess. Maybe? I don't know. It's also kind of like a metaphor for a lot of things. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Little story. That was pretty interesting. I liked it. Yeah. Again, like it's really short, not much to say. Interesting world, interesting little premise. It's obviously symbolic of like something, or like a lot of things, but it's also kind of surreal how like it's her like the world itself, it's if you take it literally, it's interesting. It's a weird sci-fi dystopia, where like they have to make humans vomit guns, vomit nukes even. How does that even work? Are nukes like really big? Like what? Like, I want to see that. How's that work? It's like, literally have to, like, become a giant, I don't know. Like, her whole body becomes a hole, I feel like. And then it just, like, vomits out like a giant nuclear warhead, I'm assuming. I don't know. Anyway. But yeah. Maybe she won't vomit guns anymore. Maybe she'll vomit, like, I don't know, anime figurines. That'd be great, right? The new era. Instead of weapons, why not just vomit anime? That's the true moral of the story. But there you go. All right. I liked it. Well, just short and sweet. Just kind of interesting. I don't know how to describe it. It's just kind of like an interesting concept, But yeah. So I guess that's it for She Vomited Guns. And I guess if you're on YouTube, you didn't know I stream these games live on Twitch, so check me out over there if you're interested. I also have other videos on my channel, so you can look for those if you want. Thanks for watching. Until next time, see you then.